Alright, VC, Jeff here. Yeah, another contest. So, I had this one marked down. This one started just a couple days ago, but I had this on my list of ones to do since before the last couple that I did. But this one took a little more thought, a little more pondering, because it can be tricky, but I decided to just not take it too seriously. So, take it as it is. This is for Nick Rudow over at his channel. He is hit 700 subscribers, or he was pushing to. He's over that now. And so a couple days ago, he's doing this contest, basically a better than the original thing. So he wants to see some bands who did cover tunes that we feel are better than the original. Now, that can be, you can step on a lot of toes there. People can get really upset when you start talking stuff like that. I mean, bands do covers to pay homage to their, to the bands that they grew up with or loved or whatever. There's a lot of reasons why bands do it. Rarely does a band ever do it to make it worse. A lot of times they do it to make it their own. When bands sound different, so you might have an industrial metal band that wants to do a pop song and turn it into that. A lot of reasons, and a lot of people do covers. It's all over the place. So I have plenty of examples. But when you start talking about is it better than, well, that's really, it's kind of depends on the person. That is a very personal thing. And so the band, they like it. Maybe they didn't set it out to be better. Maybe they meant to be different. And maybe as a fan, you like it better. So I'm not going to take it too seriously, though. So, don't yell at me. I'm not saying these are way better. These are just, I like them. They're different. So anyway, let's get into this. He wants to see at least 5. I've got at least 5 examples and then some other honorable mentions. So this was a couple years ago, and everybody's familiar with the song MacArthur Park, because somebody left the cake out in the rain, and it took so long to bake it. Anyway, so yes, a couple years ago, Neil Morse Band, of course, had to bring him in. They did it as it's kind of a more or less a bonus track on the second CD, and it is, of course, Neil Morse is prog rock. Not that, whatever, I'm not going to say much about it, but the song is 11 minutes long, over 11 minutes long. It is an epic, and it is different but recognizable. And at first when I heard it, I thought, why the heck this song? I mean, we grew up listening to that song. It's a song that most everybody knows. It still gets played on the radio occasionally. They just, just took it to the max. Great song. So I would say I really appreciate this version. It is a very new feel for that. So all right, moving on. Kiss Dynasty 2000 band. For the longest time back when I had this album in the day, I didn't know that was a cover tune. I didn't know it fit right in with what Ace Frehley would be singing about. He's a spaceman. It's all about that computers and stuff. This is 1979. We had no clue about all that stuff. I had no clue about the Rolling Stones back in that day, but we'll say that after revisiting their version, I definitely think the Ace Frehley version, from a rock aspect, it's way better. From the Rolling Stones aspect, it was really weird. So, very much, in my opinion, an improvement. Now, this one I mentioned not too long ago, because I got this album just a couple months ago, Ferociously Stoned, and this is a entire tribute album for the Motorhead, Lemmy, Motorhead, and it's all of these bands on the label The Company, most of which tend to be of the doom metal, sludge rock feel. And all of the songs have a new vibe, and all of the songs are really cool, but the one that really stood out to me as being just so unique, and I really love the feel and take on it, was Ace of Spades. It is a classic Motorhead song. Everybody knows it. It's really fast. It is, but when you sludge it up and slow it down and doom it up a little, and it just has a whole different feel. It's slow. And Railhazer, which is one of the bands that I ended up buying their whole album just because I was really impressed with that song. And they're a great band. But yes, that song stands out, Ace of Spades. People are going to say, oh, Jeff, you're crazy, because it's a classic. It's tough to do that. But when you take it and turn it into something totally different, it's unique. And I really enjoyed that song. Some of these are going to be a little more questionable. I don't know. Whatever. A little loose. I like Come Out and Play by Twisted Sister. Not saying it's my favorite Twisted Sister album. It's definitely got more commercial appeal to a degree. They're obviously, you know, reaching for that. Leader of the Pack. I grew up listening to the original on the whole, you know, back in the day. I don't think it was K-Tel, but maybe it was. The box sets, it was on every compilation you could get your hands on. It seems like it was the big hit on all the K-Tel type greatest hits records. So, I mean, grew up listening to it all the time. I like this version. I think it's tongue-in-cheek fun. The video is cute and fun, but musically, I enjoy the Twisted Sister take on it more than the original. So, I would stand with the fact that I like this version better and would lean towards listening to that more. Again, this is just kind of out there. Avenged Sevenfold. I'm not a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan, but of all the modern metal bands, they are one of the ones that I like because they kind of have that old school vibe. This was courtesy. I didn't have any Avenged Sevenfold except for the Nightmare CD. This is courtesy of the very first contest I won from Aaron Mutalamere, and I picked this as one of the prizes. They do two covers on here on the last side of the record there, and one of them, which is really impressive, is Flash of the Blade, an Iron Maiden cover. It's not even like it was an Iron Maiden huge hit, but anybody who loves Power Slave like I do, they are well aware of it. When I heard them kick into it, I'm just like, yeah. Didn't even have to look at the name of the song. But, you know, is it better? How do you get better than Iron Maiden? You know, again, it's loosely interpreted. This is a very impressive modern take on it. They didn't do anything majorly new. It sounds like them playing Iron Maiden. And so for that, it sounds unique. And I really enjoyed it. Again, I'm not going to say it's better than the original, but it is great. I really enjoyed it. Again, I don't think bands are setting out necessarily to blow away the original. I think they're just trying to put their own vibe to it, and I think they very much did in that, and it was very good. Now, I have some honorable mentions of a sort, okay? Stryper did an entire album of covers with one original song, and I love this whole thing because they don't just go with the big hits. They go with songs that are hits for some of the smaller bands, you know, Set Me Free, Blackout, Heaven and Hell, Lights Out, Carry On My Wayward Son. I will say only because Carry On as a drummer has a very unique feel, and their version kind of freaks me because it doesn't follow that. You know, some songs you gotta have that classic sound, classic feel. You can't really make it your own too much. Anyway, Highway Star, Shout It Out Loud, you know, Kiss classic there. It's just this album, you know, Over the Mountain, The Trooper, Breaking the Law, On Fire, Immigrant Song. I love Stryper, and so anytime Stryper does a take on any song that I already love, I would say, I don't want to say it's better, but I say this entire album is just top notch, top to bottom. It's a Stryper sound. And I'm not talking the syrupy, sweet 80s pop Stryper sound. I'm talking Stryper playing classic songs, metal songs that they grew up with, and doing a fantastic job. Wish it would come out on vinyl, but anyway, it is just from top to bottom a great album all around. Now, of course, mentioning Neil Morrison, one of my favorites. Neil Morrison, I showed these not too terribly long ago because they just got reissued on CD. Basically what happens is when the band goes in the studio, they record an album. The three guys, Randy and Mike and Neil, usually goof around in the studio and record cover tunes, and they end up being the bonus tracks on the CD sets or whatever. And then over the years, they would accumulate 2 or 3 sessions of that, and they put out a CD. And then 2 or 3 sessions and 2 sessions, and they put out a second CD. So over the past like 20 years, they've released 3 CDs of cover tunes. And then just recently, all 3 were issued on vinyl, and they're all color coded, and they're all coded to, you know, designed to look the same, and they're all phenomenal. Now, you know, are they better than the originals? I think they're really great. They're unique, and I'm not even going to go over because there's 3 albums worth of amazing covers, and again, it's out there with all kinds of varieties of songs. Things that they grew up with, just great songs in general. So I like listening to cover tunes in the sense where they're done by somebody that I really appreciate. And the same thing is with any band that Neil and Mike are in. They do the same thing. So you got Transatlantic, There are always bands on here. They do songs by, you know, deep tracks by Genesis and prog rock bands and, you know, Marillion and all these other bands, you know. And so they're always on here on the bonus disc, because you can see this album is like one entire song broke down in one CD, and then they got a second one that's got all this stuff, some of which are cover tunes. So they do them quite often, and I love their take on these songs. So, but that's in a nutshell. There's just so many that could be talked about, and while not all of them come across as being top notch, I've heard some covers that were like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I like a lot of them, and there's a lot of great ones out there. So anyway, thanks a lot. Y'all go check out Nick. Make sure you've check out his channel, subscribe, and all that stuff. He's over 700, but let's get him to 800 real quick. And I'll be back. I do have some stuff to show, but that's, I think, it for the contest right now. I don't know if I've missed any more. I'm kind of keeping my eye out, but I wanted to catch up with these. I'll be back, though. Rock on and rock hard.